Hello, and thank you for listening. My name is Luke Mardigian, the owner of the Mardigian Insurance Agency in St. John's, Michigan, and you are listening to Be Insured, where we talk about business, leadership, and insurance. That way, on your worst day, when you need it the most, you will be insured. We've been talking to a fellow business owner, Dan Romai, owner of Redemption Fitness, about balancing the tension between innovation and stability. During this crazy COVID time with a lot of uncertainty around revenue, it's a serious temptation to innovate so that you make yourself different than everybody else. I actually listened to this whole podcast on this restaurant that innovated, and they became like a college, basically. I'm like, well, that's not innovation. But anyways, so are you supposed to innovate during this time, or are you supposed to be stable? Well, we made the argument last episode that in today's world, innovation is stability, because it's so hard to bring stability in this chaotic environment that we're in. And so we're going to talk more about that and about how Dan grew his business in the midst of government shutdowns by being a stable, consistent business. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Yeah, of course.
And as always, I'm excited to be joined by my awesome co-host,
Eric Gastring, the Mardigian Agency.
Dan, do you feel like you've discovered a good balance between innovation and stability? And what does that look like for you? Because, you own a gym. It's not a bro sesh gym with squat racks.
Do you have the long cat alarm?
No,
it's
not anymore.
It's a functional fitness gym where normal human beings can go and get healthier.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. So one of the big things that we innovated, reopening, which has created a large amount of stability inside of our business, is implementing a program called the Level Method. And so what that does, and Luke, you and I have talked briefly about this. Basically, like it's very similar to like martial arts, right? So every martial arts dojo,
like the belts.
Yeah, exactly. So you have white belt, black belt, all that stuff. So we have 8 different colored belts that you could potentially be in the gym. Levels is what we call them. And then you progress through 15 assessments, and over the course of the assessments, you get your overall level. And so that would be your belt rank. Like I have my wristband on, which is my black level, which is what I am.
Because you're super fit.
Because I'm moderately fit.
This is actually
sometimes.
Pretty ingenious innovation.
Dude, it's legit. Like, so this company's been around for like 4 years, and every time I ask anyone, like, what do you guys do for programming in your gym? Someone says Level Method, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll check this out finally. So I got on a discovery call with them, and I was like, take my money. Like, literally, where have you been for the last 10 years of my business?
Well, because traditional gyms, it's programming is more trying to be innovative. It's like this, how can we put our own flavor and twist?
Yeah,
because programming is basically what workouts you do when and what order and for how long the workouts are,
capacity, all that stuff.
And then usually most gyms will publish an RX as prescribed, which means it's like a high level of fitness versus a modified version where maybe if you have an old lower back injury, you can do this exercise instead, but it's going to get you the similar heart rate and duration and intensity.
So 2 things that Level Method has done for us, which has increased the length that people stay at our gym, our lifetime value. That's what I was going for. That's increased the lifetime value is number 1, it's removed the word scaled or modified from the business, which if you are a quote unquote traditionally scaled athlete, you might not think anything of that. But when someone says, all right, this is RX, and if you need to scale that, it immediately implies that you're lesser than the people doing RX. Yeah. And so now it's, hey, you don't like, if you're doing brown, this is what you're doing. If you're doing yellow today, this is what you're doing. And yellow is like 5 levels under brown. Very different person, like a completely different human. But they're both going to feel the same way when the workouts. They're both going to be done in 3 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever the goal is. They're both going to get 5 rounds. Like the stimulus we're going for is the same.
That's super cool.
And so
it's crazy.
That is an innovative thing that you brought in that brings stability because people know where they're at on the scale. Right. And I think from a fitness perspective, like I recently went back to just traditional bodybuilding workouts. Like I'm not doing any like CrossFit high intensity stuff.
Jacked.
Hey, thanks, buddy. I'm trying to get skinny, but you brought me a large shirt and made me feel skinny.
You're welcome.
But when I go do like bro sesh, I still need programming. I get it from my nutrition coach, but I don't know if like what I'm doing is good or not. Right. Like I really don't. Like I don't know if I should be pushing myself a little harder or not. I've trained enough. You and I met competing in CrossFit.
Yeah.
I've trained enough that I kind of know if I'm actually like near my like where I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
but I don't really know, and I can't compare myself to like the steroid out dude down 4 squat racks
3
down,
machines over, right?
who's just like massive and can't tie his shoes, right? And I can't compare myself to the 18-year-old who just graduated high school who's coming in doing curls for spring break. Like I can't measure myself, but your system has brought the level system that you've brought into your gym has helped people know where they're at, which brings more stability to their mindset.
Yeah, for sure. And the really cool thing is, like I said, like it allows, Eric, you could walk in, do your 15 assessments and work out next to, a 350-pound lady who's just getting off the couch for the first time and somebody who's going to compete with us this weekend in Texas. And you all could do the same workout and get very similar results, which is something that I've never seen inside of a CrossFit gym until I started researching level.
Well, that's what it's all about, right? It's just health.
Well,
I mean, why you have to start somewhere. Yeah. Not everybody's going to be in the same place ever.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing that I always tell people. They're like, I got to get in shape before I come and start working out with you guys. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, if I can get you on, we call it the map. It's like the big board in the gym. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But it starts at white, and then white 1 is the second level. So if I can get you on there at all, you can come because now we have a level that you can do.
I like to get in shape while I'm getting in shape. That's my favorite type of way to get in shape.
For real.
So when we talk about innovation, so in the COVID pandemic, we talked last episode about how you were shut down. You were shut down for months with no sign. You had cops showing up to your door telling you that you couldn't be working out. It's my favorite T-shirt now is a T-shirt you gave me, which says "Exercise is
not a crime."
Not a crime. And
still not. In case you were wondering.
And just crazy stuff, like out of this world, mind-boggling. No one ever thought in America we'd have exercising is a crime, right? Working out with your friends is a crime.
Right.
But you had to deal with that. And so rather than innovate, which, like I said, there's, I heard this hour-long podcast of this restaurant out in Washington who literally like became a college and just like crazy stuff like that. Rather than becoming something different, you kind of doubled down on your current model. And, let's compare and contrast that. Okay. So a lot of businesses have been trying to generate revenue from other sources, like that restaurant who became a college. Like, hey, well, we can't sell food, so let's
do T-shirts, let's do supplements, let's do.
And they move by innovating. They actually move away from their core competency, and that's my main argument here, guys. Is if you're a business owner or you're a small business or you work in a small business, it's not innovating to the point where you sacrifice your core competencies and actually become something that nobody knows what it is.
Right.
There's another gym here in town who they decided to innovate by charging their members to rent equipment. Am I right?
Yes. And then having them continue, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm pretty sure. So timeline to my knowledge and what I've been told is increase of membership pricing. 2 months later, COVID shuts down. Continue paying that new increased price membership.
Even though that their doors aren't open.
Even though you can't come here. And on top of that, rent this equipment from me. And so that worked until it didn't. And then when it no longer did.
That's the take. Not to give
right.
So,
well, that was for them probably thinking, gosh, let's be innovative. We could, since nobody can go out and buy barbells because they all sold out the third week in March.
We'll rent equipment.
We'll rent our equipment out to people since it's just sitting here. And they,
which makes sense if you're not a member already. Like that's the thing. Like, so I had people from that gym reach out to me. Hey, can I borrow a bar? I'm like, yeah. Take the bar. Like here, you can have it. Like it's literally collecting dust.
I have 30 of them, right? Like,
it's becoming a worse barbell not being used. So take it. You're actually doing me a favor. And that person and his wife joined the gym about 3 months later. Right. Along with about 20 other people from that business that closed permanently.
And that's really core to who you've been. You've always been more of a family gym. Yeah. There's families that go to your gym. When I went there, like it was, when you first started, it was your family. It was like Josh and like, what
literally,
I mean?
Like,
Well, that's the difference with having ethics and morals as a business owner. I think people
and
are
being relationship based and not transactional, and that other gym, which I imagine that their overall revenue over the past 10 years is just extraordinarily more than yours.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, definitely. They're much bigger gym.
But who's open today?
Right. And so you keep talking about Simon Sinek. So I don't know if you've read his book, The Infinite Game.
Of course I have.
Okay, so
it's like our playbook.
Yeah. So I, when I was with my first business coach, the one that tried to get me to do the online stuff that we talked about, that we're doing a different version, but so he started talking about the infinite game, and I got like really nerded out on it. And it's like, okay, like you're trying to like, they would always say, oh, we're the best gym in town. Like we're the CrossFit gym for Lansing. And like, I have no ill will towards them at all. Super clear, but
great dudes. Yeah.
But
and gals.
The thing is, like, you're the best at what? Like, you keep saying you're winning. Like, we have the most members. Like, I don't care. Like, right. I can pay my bills. My business is open. Like, if we're looking at it as winning, like, winning is just continuing to play.
Right.
And so we're still open. We're still playing the game. So, like, who's win? Who's win? That's not a real sentence. Who is winning, I guess? Like,
like the classic, what movie were you just watching? I think it was Simpsons. There was like this black hole that everything got sucked into, and they met this alien creatures where all the stuff was going, and they're like, our favorite electronic is the Zune, right? And I think Simon Sinek uses the Zune in Infinite Game.
He talks about that with in contrast
how
to
it
the
failed.
iPhones.
Yeah. So you have the iPod.
Yeah,
you have the
something,
iPods, and then Microsoft Zune, which my mom had a Microsoft Zune. Funny enough,
I literally don't even know what that is. To be honest,
I do. It's like an iPod.
It's an MP3 player. Yeah. Basically, they were able to hold more songs, and it costs less than the iPod.
But they didn't market it well.
No, it wasn't even the marketing. It's just even the design. Like they never thought about the end user.
Okay.
Like their reason for doing it was because Apple was doing it. So Microsoft was just like, we're gonna do it too, and it didn't work. Well, in the same, now it's a pop culture reference on The Simpsons, right? Like what isn't though? In the same way, like for you, the game you were playing was never who could have the most revenue over 10 years.
Right.
It was how many people can you help and still be profitable.
Right.
Like, and there's seasons where you weren't profitable, but you were able to pay your bills, and you were able to continue it so that you could show up for the next person who wanted to get in shape.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like, so I was looking at our end of year numbers, and like we're down 49.5% from 2019 to 2020, but we're open. We have a better facility. We have the same amount of staff. We have about the same amount of members now, but we took a huge hit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, like, if you look at total dollars coming into the business, you'd be like, okay, that's definitely not going to make it. But like, we, in my opinion, like our culture inside of the gym, like we have some stuff that we're working through right now as a staff, which I'm happy to talk about that. But like, it's all good things right now. But like, we are continuing to service our members. Are we bringing in less dollars? Yes. Are we pushing out less things for like different things that we just didn't need? Like we cut a ton of unnecessary expenses. Like that's what you have to do when something like this happens. But that's part of the innovation is like, where can I cut?
Right. Rather than innovation in product or service offered, right? I mean, that's the same with us. We were down 19 to 20, about 15%. Okay. Some of that was strategic, but you can tell, just walk into one of our team meetings, everybody is psychologically in a better place than they were in 19.
And that's what's important.
Right. So we have a healthier team. We have a healthier relationships with our clients, and we have a more consistent process that we take our clients through, whether it's for service or if they're coming on board for the first time.
Yeah.
So we refocus pretty much on our stability.
Right. So now, because this is what we were happening, right? So we'd be innovative. We'd go out and we'd get a bunch of business. We'd bring it in. And then 3 months later, we'd have some issue, like whatever it is. And this is a small percent, but in business, if you have any issues, like they feel like everything.
It feels like a nightmare, right?
But really, I think these things just point out your inefficiencies is what it is. And so,
well, it did.
If it's true of one account, it probably is true of others, and they just didn't have issues.
Yeah. Or they didn't want to tell you.
Or you got lucky, it just
or somebody knew how to deal with it and another person didn't.
Right. Or whatever the story is, but it's an inefficiency, right? Yep. So rather than do all of that, we realized that by building consistency in our processes, we were actually preventing issues down the road, which was cementing our clients' faith in us.
Yeah.
It was so easy to move over, and I had no issues, and I haven't even had to talk to them because everything's done right and my billing's straight and everything's great. My life is, I will call them, they pick up the phone because we're not inundated with all those crappy problems we had. And so for you, like, our people aren't tied up with 2 hours on the phone with billing to try to fix some silly issue that if we had just done it the same way as all the other ones, then it would have been fine, right? Well, for you on the innovation side, like rather than trying to push new products, you actually have streamlined your process so that it's actually easier and everybody goes through the same process as a member, right? Yeah. And even your online coaching, even though it's an innovation that you're doing this remote coaching in a different way, you're using the same system.
Yeah, it's the exact same system. The only difference is they get a coaching call instead of just having the stuff like and just doing it on their own.
Right.
And so it's obviously more that way, but part of that is like the innovation of that is like, okay, I have this new, we'll call it quote unquote new coaching business that is definitely pulling some attention away from the gym. And so how do I fix that? And so we've like actually being down 50% almost, like we have 2 people in place as managers, like taking roles in the business. And it's funny because I was actually at the church and he was talking about something in Acts, and he mentioned Exodus 18, which Moses is basically standing there just getting rattled by people all day long about all the things that they have complaints about.
Yeah.
And he's like, his stepdad is like, this is inefficient. What are you doing? Like, you need to raise up other men.
Yep.
And so essentially what we did, and like that day I was like, all right, I'm going to figure out these 2 people to be manager roles.
Hiring in those positions, building in systems of consistency, whether online or in person.
Yeah.
Now you are a more stable business.
For sure.
In the midst of chaos, Redemption Fitness, people know what to expect from you.
Yeah, I would say yes.
And that's why my argument is, in this COVID environment, stability
over innovation
is innovation, because it's so hard. So thank you for joining us on Be Insured. Dan, thanks so much for being on. Check out Dan at Redemption Fitness in Holt, Michigan, and we'll see you next time on Be Insured.